Welcome to Tokyosaurus. Today we have another Japanese character origin video, which will go into depth to see where their design inspiration comes from, as well as to give you a better background of what the original character is all about. So we'll be talking about Beetler from Yokai Watch. Beetler is a rank B Earth attributed yokai of the Brave tribe. The yokai medallion states that Beetler is a young battler who fights with his horns and fists. He trains with his rival Rhinoggin. More on this guy later. Beetler is an upright beetle that assumes a fighting stance with clothes that resemble a Japanese martial artist. And he can evolve into the S-rank Beetle when fused with a general's soul. So where is Beetler inspired from? Rather than a yokai, Beetler is inspired directly from a stag beetle, or otherwise known as Kuwagata mushi. Beetler's Japanese name Kuwanobushi, which apparently translates directly to the meaning of Kuwagata mushi, which is the stag beetle, means plow's warrior. So what's so interesting about a stag beetle anyways? Apparently in Japan, the tradition of keeping pet insects is a very popular thing to do, especially two types of beetles. These two types of beetles are generally very nice to humans, but the moment they see each other, they will start fighting. The first type is the Kuwagata mushi, which is the stag beetle we were talking about earlier. And the second type is the Kabuto mushi, which is the rhinoceros beetle, and also the inspiration for Rhinoggin, who is Beetler's eternal rival. But back to the stag beetle or Kuwagata. They are named for having their double horns and can grow to 2 to 3 inches long. The rivalry between the two started as old as time, as bug fights have been in the history of Japan for as long as people can remember. It was the reason why people kept pet beetles and a whole economy of bug trading started. In modern Japan, not many kids would fight with real beetles they found around town, as there are just too many other things to play with these days. But it's still something that appears on Japanese TV. And pet beetles these days are more for collecting and showcasing purposes. Nice beetles can get really expensive and kids most likely cannot afford them. So its market is actually geared towards older people. As we find pet stores that sell fish exclusively, there are many shops in Japan that survive on just selling beetles and beetle supplies. The price of a beetle can range anywhere between $10 to over $1,000 for rarer ones. So as an owner of expensive beetles, it's probably not the smartest thing to bring them into fights where they can get hurt and even killed in the process. As a pet itself, a beetle can be pretty high maintenance. You have to keep the right levels of humidity, and their cages constantly gets dirtied, which needs to be cleaned regularly as well. They spray their poop everywhere, so it can get pretty annoying. Stag beetles generally cost more than the rhinoceros beetle because they can live up to 5 years, whereas Japanese rhinoceros beetles can only live for a little more than a year. The stag beetle can hibernate over the winter, which the owner has to stimulate for. Stag beetles can also fly, so if you ever see one, don't let that surprise you. And finally, stag beetles cannot be put in the same cage as each other. It is in their nature to fight other beetles, and so if you want your beetle to live a long and healthy life, it is best to keep them alone in their own case. Japanese specific stag beetles are actually on the brink of extinction because of imported stag beetle breeding, as well as loss of natural habitat in the wild. So it might be possible that in the near future, with the constant crossbreeding, we won't see these guys for much longer. But anyways, hopefully that won't be the case. And that's all about stag beetles for the day. What do you think of Japanese beetles? Did you know people actually kept beetles as pets? As usual, let me know in the comments below. Follow Tokyosaurus on Twitter and Facebook for updates on our newest videos and Japan-related tweets. Like the video if you want more like this, and subscribe so you can get the latest videos right in your inbox. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.